And I am going to record this. This is kind of a continuation of 2.2. We're actually going into, the way the book works and the way we work is a little bit different. We're actually going to go into 2.4. This is the one I want to focus on right here. Is that one a little bit more challenging than the rest? What makes it more challenging? It's got a negative r, which technically makes it a two-step equation instead of a one-step. So I'm going to go to my little piece of paper here because I do not have room to show it. And so I'm gonna call this, and technically this lesson, even though this worksheet is 2.A, we're all over the place with these first sections. This technically is 2.4, two-step equation, not equations. I keep doing that. They're not equations, are they? Equations have the equal sign. Inequalities have inequality signs. That's the difference. Because, equation starts with equal, basically, right? So 3, let's look at it, and let's see how that works. It is a little bit complex, and the deal with all of these problems, is when I talk, I don't write letters correctly. I don't know what letter I was trying to write, but it's supposed to be an R, right? The deal with all these problems is you've got to keep it organized because every little bitty thing that you do wrong can mess you totally up. If you mess one little negative, instead of just missing a negative, now you're graphing the entire wrong direction. Which, in real life, if you go the wrong direction, it just causes you more work, right? Has anybody ever done that where they're supposed to walk to somebody's house and they go down the wrong way? I just live off, Anderson Road or something. It's like, okay. And you turn the wrong way and you're now all of a sudden 2 miles away from their house instead of going towards their house. I've done that before. Anyways, first step is easy. But what do we think we do with this negative r? There's a lot of ways to look at it. We can multiply by a negative number. We can divide by a negative number, or we can just turn everything to its opposite. I usually like to just divide by -1 or multiply. It just doesn't matter. So when I do that, this becomes a negative 16. This becomes a positive, and what happens to this one? Okay, and this is what you got to be careful about. And then I got to put it in the right order to graph it. Okay, the Pac-Man or the alligator's eating the negative 16, so I'd have to do the same thing. So then when you graph this, we're going to do a circle on negative 16, and which way does the arrow go? Okay, so if you didn't get that right on your worksheet, go ahead and fix it. Okay, and yours shouldn't take up as much room as mine. I write a little spaced out just so it looks better on the board. If I was working this for myself, I would just do every line. But from where I sit, this looks better, where it's bigger and more clear. All right, so that's kind of what we're doing. Okay, and remember, when we do a two-step, the first step is going to be add, subtract. Second step is going to be the multiply, divide. Okay. This is the step that we're going to, this is the only step that we're going to flip. Okay. Now I'm going to see there also is before the first step, sometimes we get the bonus. Let's call it a bonus step, because that makes it sound like it's a good thing, right? Sometimes we kill fractions, right? And I'm going to show you an example of a time that we kill a fraction. See this, 33? That's a bad, awful, evil fraction, right? How did we learn how to kill fractions? You multiply both sides by the denominator, right? So that's the first step on that. So you're just going to So the only time you are going to multiply first is when you're killing a fraction. And so actually this is what you're going to end up solving, right? The nice thing, if these are written correctly, you're not allowed to have, to write things appropriate, you're not allowed to have a negative on the bottom. You're not allowed to have a negative for the numerator. And since my worksheet in the book is written correctly, they're not going to put negatives down here. But if they did put a negative down here, would you have to flip the inequality there? You would, because you have to multiply by -6. They're not going to do that. I'm not going to do that because that's not how you're supposed to write the problems. The problem should be written in a form that resembles reality. So if I ever do that to you, I'll let you know. So remember, the kill fractions is kind of a bonus step that will help you out. All right, let's just go ahead and kick into a problem. Let's see if we can do this one right here. It's just a good old-fashioned two-step problem, right? Did we do problems like this in August? Just without the greater than sign, right? So we're kind of ending up back where we are, but it's still a little different. First step. Okay, remember, we're not going to change anything on this one. That's the add step. Second step. What do I divide by? Okay. Once you get this down, it's not bad, but you do have to be careful. You do have to be careful. And then when we finally graph this is going to be a circle, but it has the equal sign, so we're going to fill in that circle. We're going to put that circle, of course, on -5, and the arrow is going to go this way. Okay, is everybody getting where the arrow goes? This means all the numbers that are less than 5. So if I filled this out, this would be like -6, -7, -8. But also this is just like an arrow, isn't it? You know, you could always do this, and that's how you know which way to go. But only when the X is on the left. Okay, that's it.